What's up, guys? This is just going to be my top favorite tools that I use pretty much daily on my RC cars or anytime I'm working on them. And it's just to make your life easier, faster, and just less painful. No particular order, no ranking scale or anything here. Just hopefully helping you out if you're new, or if you've been in it, maybe it'll open up a door or something that you've never done and you'll give it a shot, or you already know all this and that could be possible too. So first off is gonna be a good quality set of hexes. And I mean good, I've gone through numerous pairs going the cheap route, and it's just not worth it. Find a good quality set that isn't gonna strip out, then it's just always gonna have a good bite for you. And generally you're always looking between like 1 millimeter up to 4 millimeter, and everywhere in between seems to be about, it covers this whole trade. I'll link all this stuff too. There is affiliate links to it, but I'm not, this isn't what I'm doing here. I'm just really trying to help people out. This set right here I've owned for quite a while, and I've had great results with it. I have numerous other ones that you see. This one's broken half. The heads get stripped out and they're not good. I don't even know why I'm holding on to this. I can just throw that away. And then also so say you have the bad ones, or you just, well here, let me lead into this. This is how we'll move on in this video. I'm sure one of these will have an example for me. Let's see. Yep, okay. So I try to be good at cleaning and maintaining these things. This one I kind of just threw back on the shelf with a light cleaning. You'll come across this a lot, where, especially on your chassis, where everything gets covered up in dirt, full of dirt, and then you don't take the time to clean that dirt out, or you didn't clean it out good enough that as you thought, and you'll go to run your, put your hex head in there and go to run it out, and you got half of a bite, and it's just not that good because it's being blocked by dirt. And that's when you start to strip things too. So my next tool on the list is an X-Acto knife. Not only does, getting parts in the mail and new cars, just unboxing them and things like that, does this come in really good use, but it works as this as well. So if you see right here, we're covered up with dirt. I just take that, and this fine point does really good at getting all those crevices, and you just blow that out either with your lungs or with an air hose, and then now free and clear of all that dirt and debris, and voila, you fit in nice and snug. And now you'll risk the chance of stripping this out when you remove that. This comes in handy a lot, more than you'll know. It really does. But this will lead me into my third tool, and this is probably my favorite tool. You don't come across it often, but when you do, you are so glad you have it. So glad you have it. And so here it is. A speed out set. I'm telling you, you will thank me later if you buy this. So this right here, so this comes in 4 different sizes. So generally you'll be using typically the smallest size or next to the smallest. So I really wish I just used it not long ago. And in my head, I was like, oh, I should have filmed that for this reason. But so like, we can just use an example. Let's say you got especially motor mounts. Motor mounts is huge because you didn't heat it enough to get that Loctite off, or things just happened, you didn't clean it out enough, it had dirt in there, you stripped it. Now you're sitting there scratching your head, just like, what am I gonna do? Because I got this bolt that's stripped and it's locked in there so tight. So here's the solution. So this has 2 ends. So this end right here is designed to drill it out. So it's gonna drill that stripped bolt. This is gonna drill that out real nice and smooth. And then this is reverse thread. You can mostly do it by hand. And the other benefit is this will fit into a 1/4 inch socket. So, and then once you drill it out properly, This will spin, drill in reverse, and it'll just bite that screw and boop, it'll pull it out right for you, no matter how badly stripped it is. And you got all 4 sizes, so no matter what bolt I mean, this will come in handy too outside of RC. This thing is awesome. I've used it, it's got me out of so many jams, but a stripped screw will never bother you again with this speed out kit. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. So then the next thing on my list would be, so after you've fixed that, because once you drill it out and you remove it with that extractor, it's shot. You're not using that screw again. So my next thing on my list would be a kit of spare screws. And you can get these, like I said, everything will be listed. As much as I can, I'll try to list it all down there. But this has all different sizes, lengths, beveled heads, flat heads, washers, axle nuts, body pins, you name it. Oh, little O-rings, C-clips for your pinion gears. It comes with all of it, and this thing, I reach to this all the time. Or you'll just be running, you come back, you're cleaning up your car, and you realize that screw ain't there no more. But it came loose while you were out bashing, and it came out. But you got your backup replacements all in here. And then it's also got the little nuts too, like on the bottom of your steering. Typically you'll have like one that threads down, and then that tiny little nut that threads at the bottom of it. Those are all in here. This is great. So this is definitely worth it as well. So really these are all meant to make your life easier and just less painful, where you're just getting frustrated with the hobby. Because we all get it, working on them. I enjoy it, I really do. A lot of people do, not everybody does, but to make it easier, definitely makes it more enjoyable. And this right here is gonna make it significantly easier. So this is, I'm just a Dewalt guy. Everything I own is Dewalt, that's just me. Pretty sure everybody else makes these now. But it's got your 1/4 inch, so you can fit all your nice hex heads in there. And then how it works is, it's got a gyroscope in it. It works off your tilting, so just like a screwdriver. You want to loosen, and you can control that, fine control that speed as well. But this comes in handy a lot. And what I will say is an impact, even though this is just a 12 volt, I never use this ever. It's just way overkill. It's going to do more damage in the long run, just from over tightening or not having a good bite, and you just juice it and stripping stuff out. This is, I do not recommend using an impact. This is the most you need, and you can control it well, so you can slow down, because I always slow down once it gets a little snug. And then my next tool would be a quality T-handle Allen set. So I always snug things down, and then you want to take your T-handle and put it in, and then you can get a good bite on it, and you can actually feel that torque. So you know, like, all right, that's good. So you're not gonna over torque it, or this is gonna jump, strip. So your last final bit of tightening anything, I always recommend by hand. Even when you're breaking stuff loose, motor mounts, after you heated them up, you got that Loctite all loose. This is great. Just so you get a good bite, you get good contact, and you can break it loose. And the moment you pop that loose, then jump over to this and bring it out real quick. So highly recommend these. And of course with that, if you're not into the power, this still comes in handy a lot, just the hand version. But I do recommend the hand version that you get with a chuck on it. So you can just you have one, and you can interchange and use this for all your same tools. And because this comes in handy a lot too. Some things you just want to do by hand, you don't want any power tools or anything on it. This is super cheap, and I use this all the time. So it's just a straight line punch. So this can be used just like the X-Acto knife to get dirt out of your screws, out of the hex heads before you remove them to make sure there's no damage. But the other super good benefit with this, especially this size, the smaller size like this, is all your drive pins. So say you pop this out, you pull your lower suspension arm off, it's got your drive pin in there. You don't always just want to put a pair of channel locks on it and bugger it up and pull it out. This right here, you can just use just as a punch and just push it out and get it out by hand. Just an example, but like even like your hubs right here. So you pop out your small Allen screw in there that holds this hub pin in, and you just want to pop that out. You can just push this and slide those out super easily, because a lot of them do get gummed up with dirt and stuff in there and they're stuck. This comes in handy for that. And there's small other things that it comes in handy with, but I reach for it pretty often. It's definitely a constant one that I'm grabbing for. Another thing that's super helpful is just a small crescent. This is still kind of overkill. I'm just not gonna buy a smaller one. This one works fine with me. But there's a lot of situations where your standard tools that come with your RCs just you don't got the room to get them in there. Like, you can't hit it straight. So a good example of that is, so right here, because we got these front mud guards on, and we have our backing nut right here that holds our standoff for our shock. I do believe that is 7mm, which is an odd size. I don't know why it's not like 8, but so I can't get that without a good bite. Like, I'm gonna strip it, everything. So the tool it came with doesn't work. So what works best is a small crescent, and you can go right in there, tighten down, and you can hold that as a backer, and then Bob's your uncle. There you go. Now you can tighten your standoff down nice, without taking the chance of just trying to make something work that just ain't working. This is from all my anti-solder people, people that just don't like it, just never been that good at it or anything along those lines. Not knocking anybody's skills or anything like that. I choose this way just because it's the efficiency and it's so much easier. It's way easier, but check this out. This is a huge game changer for me in the world of RC. I'll just do an example here, and I'm gonna waste all this to do an example, but let me set you up so you can see real good. These are super clutch. So as an example here, I got my shrink wrap tubing. I have my actual solder joint, or my solder coupling. This is the gold. This is the magic right here. So as an example, we'll take these two. You also want a good set of wire strippers. I've had these for, I don't know, 10+ years. Got our wire, so we're gonna take that, we're gonna strip it. We got all our little internals here, and we're gonna take our other one. This is just an example, guys. Strip it. So then now, technically in the real world, these would be connected to something, so you're gonna wanna pre-plan ahead and get yourself ready. And then you're gonna take your two wires that you wanna connect, extend, or whatever it is, and you're gonna feed those all into each other. And I just take them and I roll them in my hand like so, and then this just slides right over it, and then that's your solder ring right there. So you want that right in the middle, and then there's no soldering, no nothing. So everything's set where you want it, and all you gotta do, take your heat gun, and you're gonna hold it there. It might start burning some of that seal tight that comes with it, but you'll see, like right there, you'll see that solder melting, spreading in between those two connections you just made. And then you would, at this point, then you got your, everything's done. It's technically already got seal tight on it, so you don't have to. I always just do this as an extra step, but it's all soldered together. You can see that solder all melted in there. And then you take your seal tight. And wham, professional. That's it. You just solder the wire. You don't know none of that finicky stuff, and you're good to go. I have used this on 6S, 8S, 12S, you name it. It's never failed me. So that's a huge one right there, guys. And what this looks like, so I got my electric drawer in here. There's my old solder gun. I haven't used it since, but I got all my fittings here. But you can buy like these kits, and it comes with pretty much every size you want. I find in this trade that you use this size the most. Pretty much 12 gauge to 8 gauge. So like your Max 5s and stuff will be 8 gauge. Your standard connections will be 12 gauge. You can just buy one big lump pack of these 8 gauge ones, and they shrink and cover just fine on all the others. And then the same with your shrink wrap tubing. I just have a kit here, but I typically reach for this size the most. Highly recommend that. And like it's not going nowhere. I'm telling you, I've never had an issue. It's great. Also, obviously with that would be a heat gun. You don't need anything crazy. This is just a 2-stage. It's got a low and a high and an off. Nothing fancy. I think I got this at Harbor Freight. The heat gun too also helps in the hobby as well. You can heat up plastics and reshape them. I just did it on my Creighton because my rear wing was bent from just bad landings and stuff, and I just took some heat to it with this and kind of reshaped it back up so it's not all droopy on me. So there's lots of uses for a heat gun as well. All right, so that pretty much covers that. And then these are my last few things. These are more like, well, I guess they're all kind of maintenance and stuff as well, but these are musts in my book as well. So obviously up first, blue Loctite. Blue is removable. You can go red and things like that, but blue's always done fine, always held for me, and then I don't have to go through so much pain trying to remove it once I want to change something out, especially on grub screws. So blue Loctite, that's a must. This is PB Blaster's silicone lubricant. This works great. Same with WD-40. They both repel water really good, and also just keep your plastics nice and malleable, and all your bearings. But as an example, I always, when I get done running them, I make sure I clean them first thing, do a little maintenance before I put them back on the bench. It's easier to do it when you're done, so then it's there for the next time. It's already ready to go, and it's also not sitting, because you don't know how long it's gonna be till you run that car again. So it's nice just to know that that's done, and it's sitting on the shelf in its shelf state, nice and clean with nothing, no water and dirt, and it's not gonna rust and things like that. What I always do after I clean them, and I make sure they're all dry and everything's nice how I like it, I'll take either this silicone lubricant or WD-40, and every joint where I know a bearing's at, or it's a moving joint, like I know there's a bearing behind here, so I'll squirt back there, and then I'll always just squirt a little in the drive cup there, just because water likes to hang out in there and rust, and this is just going to remove it and keep it lubricated. So I'll hit that on every point possible, all that religiously, and then once every single one of them's wet, saturated in either WD or that silicone lubricant, then I just kind of roll it back and forth to work that in there, and then that's that, and it can go back up on the shelf. Every once in a while, not every time, but I'll take the WD and just soak my entire car with it and let it sit for about 48 hours and then wipe it clean. And most of this plastic will absorb all that. That's a huge thing to make my life, anybody else's life, easier with wanting to maintain their cars. Last but not least, this is just There's different variations of this. This is just my go-to. Once everything's dry, clean, you can spray this and just give it a light wipe down or let it sit. Cleans and protects and shines everything up real nice. Makes it shine, like you can see it's on these tires right here. These things look brand new, guys. And if you see my last video, you know these were caked. These have been caked numerous times, but they look brand new. So, all right, guys, some honorable mentions would be, I don't use it that often, but when I do like a complete teardown, I do, is some good waterproof grease. So all my drive pins, before I slide them back in, I put a thin coat of waterproof grease on there. All my bearings, I'll put a light coat of waterproof grease on there. Yeah, there's numerous stuff. This is more for like a detailed, really breaking down into it, but it's good to have on hand. I might be missing some stuff, guys, but it's just, I'm just trying to help you out. I really am. These are the things that I've learned and things that I've found super helpful to alleviate some of that kind of just, you know, agony when sometimes when you're working on these things, it gets kind of frustrating and things like that. But I'm not at all trying to sell you a bunch of garbage. I'm not at all trying to, that's the last thing I would ever want to do, guys. I'm just trying to help. If you found this helpful, awesome. If you didn't, I'm sorry. And if you know something that I missed or I don't know, please share in the comments. So not only will you help me out, but you can help everybody else out that ends up watching this video. That'd be greatly appreciated. There's a lot of other things, guys, like obviously get that Loctite loose. You're gonna want some heat. I think probably a handheld little butane torch would work way better. This is just from back in my soldering days, working in the trades. I got so many of these. But all right, guys, that's just some tools and I guess tips and tricks and stuff that help me out, and I hope it helps you out. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you later.